kind of continuing our series here on machine tool walkthroughs. I figured I'd do a walkthrough of the lathe. We just got a brand new lathe. This is our older lathe. This is a South Bend 9-inch lathe, tabletop model. These are great lathes. They're well represented. They're tight, accurate machines, and they've been made for 30, 40, 50 years. And there's tons of parts around for them, which is great. You can get accessories like tool posts and everything's supported. If you need a new tailstock, you can buy a new tailstock. If you need a new cross slide nut, you can get a new cross slide nut. You don't have to make it, which is great. These are threading lathes, so they have a thread box. Power feeds on the cross slide this way and the cross slide this way. And pretty much they're standard tool room lathe. This is a 3-speed model. They do make others that are higher speed. And it works great. This lathe has stood us very well. You want to make sure you have at least a 3-jaw chuck. If you're going to do any kind of square work, you want a 4-jaw chuck, or collets. And collets are great too. A 3-jaw chuck is definitely less accurate than collets, but it is way, way, way easier to use and way more flexible in your use. It's nice if you get a collet with reversing jaws. These jaws, you can take them out, put them back in backwards, so that you can grab wider things with the inside of this area here. This lathe works great. We've done lots of stuff on this, but we've started to kind of beat it up a little bit. You can see there, got a little slop in here on the cross slide nut. The ways are starting to get a little worn, and it's because we've been doing work that's really bigger than this machine wants to do, which is one of the reasons we invested in a new lathe. From what 95% of us are going to do as a knife maker, this lathe will do fine. Mostly what I use this for is actually making pommel nuts, making custom Damascus nuts and beads. I do a lot of turning work for components that fit other things together, make things concentric. Another thing I found that is really useful, if I have a round piece that I'm trying to make into a bolster, I can face off the edge of it and it'll be dead flat. And that makes it much easier to fit everything up later. I can bore a small hole through the center, begin my slot. It makes it much easier to get your fit up later. Other than that, there's not a ton you're going to use this for. Threads, maybe, but you're not going to. I wouldn't want to chuck a knife up in here and thread it. Internal threads are really nice. It's really nice to tap on this because you can put the tap in the vise or the tailstock, and then just crank it through, and everything stays lined up. You break many fewer taps. Accessories you're going to want for this: a good tool post. You want a drill chuck and a live center. Now, there's 2 different kinds of centers. There's a live and a dead center. A dead center is just a taper. That's all it is. You can grease it, use it. Usually those are meant for the other side of the lathe. Put them in the pass through, and you run off faceplate with a lathe dog, which is a little kind of L thing. But the live center has a bearing in it, and the idea is that you can put pressure on it. So you have long, thin work. You drill a little hole in the end, keep it centered, and you can put pressure on it and keep it from moving and whipping around on the lathe. It means that you can turn longer objects. These are great. But these are the main 2 things you're going to want to make sure you have. These and a good cutter. Other than that, everything else is just gravy. I don't, you can get it's called a steady rest for longer work, which is just kind of 3 dots that sit on it and rub on the thing. You can get a follower rest, which mounts to the cross slide. I don't think I've ever used one. They get used, but not for anything I ever do. So if that's what you're getting, cool. But I don't think you actually need it. Hope that helps. I'm going to go and give you a walkthrough of the bigger lathe and show you what the differences are. So this is our new lathe, significantly larger, more robust lathe. This is what's called the gearhead lathe. Runs a little bit differently. Also has selectable speeds from 30 RPM up to 1500 RPM without changing back gear or anything like that. This is what's called a turret lathe, meaning this is the turret. If you advance the turret forward and then come back, it spins. This is for production work, but it also means that you can set up 3 or 4 different tools on the turret and rotate through for what you need at the time. This one also has power feeds on the turret, which is kind of cool, and power feeds on the cross slide and carriage. The downside of this machine is it looks like it has a gearbox, but it's for threading, but it does not have a compound slide. I can probably fab one up or buy one, but I'm not planning on threading on this machine, and that's really the only thing I would need the compound for, other than cutting angles. It has a very large, massive tool post, and it did come with quite a bit of accessories. I have these, which are carbide tool holders, which fit in here. I have 5 or 6 of those. I have some inserts. I have some knurling accessories. I have several drill chucks and a live center. So really, this came with everything I need to use it, and it works pretty well. This one runs a little bit differently. You turn the motor on, select the speed you want, and engage forward or reverse. These are very high torque machines, and they can be very dangerous. You absolutely want to make sure you take everything out of here. Shut this machine in neutral before you take anything on the lathe part. Make sure the chuck key is never left in place, because this will break your arm. Not even think about it. So that's the walkthrough on this. The main difference of this is just a bigger, more robust machine than the other one, and I'm planning to do a lot of the things we were damaging the other lathe on this lathe. It's really a very much overkill lathe, but we got a good price on it. So there we go. Thanks, guys.